And then just over a month after you bought them, you saw a photo on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And what did that walk us through that?
Wow. I mean, you talking about knocking the wind out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine this thing has been the world record, official world record for 26 years, almost 28 years. And yeah, you find out 40 days after you buy it that it had 2 little sticker points coming off 2 of the tines, which were cut off at some point, which means it can no longer be in the record book. So the $1 million in effect from a collector standpoint went to zero in 40 days.
Sheesh. And there's no insurance on that or anything, huh?
Well, that's a great question. I did get insurance, on the $1 million purchase. I did have insurance through my homeowner's policy through a collectible rider.
Okay.
But, that raises the question, like, can you go to the insurance company and say, hey, let me explain this to you. You need to get $1 million and here's why.
If you're an entrepreneur who's built success but feels stuck in the grind, this podcast is for you. On the Live More Show, we give you short, powerful conversations to help you become more tax savvy, time rich, and totally free. Here's your host, Melanie Sigma.
What would you spend $1 million on if you could spend it on anything? My guest today spent it on a set of deer antlers, and what happened next became the biggest story in the whitetail world in decades. Josh Duncan is a former hunting guide turned real estate investor. He's the owner of Secure Store Self-Storage with 12 locations across 6 states, and he's the man at the center of one of the most remarkable and mysterious stories in the history of whitetail deer hunting. He's about to be in a movie called Antler Craze, America's $1 Million Deer. And he's also a friend of mine from a mastermind legacy family that we've been a part of. So, Josh, you were a hunting guide before you were a real estate investor. Is there a version of yourself from years ago who would be just shocked at where you are today?
Oh, 100%. Until I was 30 years old, I could care less about trying to create wealth or even thinking about, the future and retirement and all those things. So yeah, definitely the younger Josh didn't care about money as much as I do as I've gotten older.
What changed that?
The realization of getting older, right? As a hunting guide, you get to see a lot of successful people. You get to be around them and hear their stories. And then at some point you realize you're the guy taking them on the hunt. And it would be a lot more fun to be the guy going on the hunt. So that was my mindset shift to like, hey, let's try something that maybe is not as fun, but can make some money. So
awesome. Now, at what point did you realize that being a guide, that wasn't going to be the long-term plan? Did you still stay a hunting guide? And what made you pivot into real estate? Did you kind of do a slow transition or just jump into it?
Pretty slow transition. So I always had a lot of stuff going on the side. So during hunting season, you can't do anything but guide. It's very demanding, 14 hours a day, right? And in the off season, I would always do side deals. I would look at land and timber deals, try to find investors, always dabbling in land and timber as a hunting guide because I was around it and understood it, right? And all my friends were foresters. So it was a natural fit for me to try to earn more money, through land and timber flips on the side.
And then how'd you get into self-storage?
So when I came to the realization that I wanted to try to obtain wealth, I started studying various businesses and I ran across self-storage. Actually, one of my friends told me that he thought it would be a great business to get into. And when I looked at it, I saw that it took some construction knowledge. But when it really got down to managing the business, it's about as simple as it gets because you're literally renting out units, you're renting out clean, dry space, and it doesn't take a special skill like a surgeon would have to have, or even operating a car wash or something else. Operationally, it seemed very simple to me.
Yeah. It's pretty low overhead too, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're having one manager that's managing up to 4 locations. So if you think of about a quarter a person per facility, it's about as easy operational, as it gets.
Wow. Yeah. Why wouldn't everybody do self-storage? That's my question. You're probably like, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're like, just don't tell everybody, then it's less for you.
Right.
Yeah. Now, did growing up as a hunter and developing those skills, like learning to be patient, reading terrain, knowing when to move, and all those skills that you had to have for being a good hunter, did that show up as you ran a business?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, the patience thing, definitely not. I have zero patience, unfortunately. But I think getting up out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning after going to bed at midnight the night before and having to be in front of people and be personable and hospitable, that's a skill set that I learned hunting that has taken me, being an entrepreneur, as you know, is extremely a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And so really the work ethic part from being a hunting guide, I think crossed over more than anything.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's definitely not as easy as they make it look on Instagram, right?
No, you just grab a cigar and flying around in a jet, right? It's that easy.
Yeah, that's it. That's hilarious. Okay, now I have to ask about the general. You spent $1 million on a set of deer antlers. Walk me through, like, why did that matter to you so much? And then what was it like, I guess, when you first got it?
Yeah, I've always been a lover of whitetails. It's kind of, as a hunter, it's weird to say you love something and you go shoot it, right? That's a
Yeah,
weird
that's
thing.
true.
And it takes a hunter to understand that. But as I get older, I more appreciate the whitetail, not from a hunting standpoint, but just the beauty. And so I've always loved the general. I learned about him in college in 1996 in my dorm room reading North American Whitetail magazine. And what led me to wanting to acquire him, I bought a hunting lodge in Kansas. And the lodge, when we showed up to look at the property before purchasing it, had a lot of taxidermy on the walls. And so we closed the property, came back, and the room was empty. And the feeling, the aura that was there was gone. It was just
Yeah,
these blank walls. So I thought to myself, how can I bring the aura back? And I thought, well, if I buy the general, the biggest typical known to walk the earth, and I hang him over the fireplace, the aura is going to be back times 1,000, right?
that'll do it.
That'll do it. So in the beginning, it was just a desire to have that for myself, not to be as public as it's became now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just over a month after you bought them, you saw a photo on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did that walk us through that?
Wow. I mean, you talking about knocking the wind out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine this thing has been the world record, official world record for 26 years, 28 years. And yeah, you find out 40 days after you buy it that it had two little sticker points coming off two of the tines, which were cut off at some point, which means it can no longer be in the record book. So the $1 million in effect from a collector standpoint went to zero in 40 days.
Sheesh. And there's no insurance on that or anything, huh?
Well, that's a great question. I did get insurance, on the $1 million purchase. I did have insurance through my homeowner's policy through a collectible rider.
Okay.
But that raises the question, like, can you go to the insurance company and say, hey, let me explain this to you. You need to give me $1 million and here's why. But we took a little bit different angle with it after much thought.
Good. What was that different angle, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I kind of, like, as I'm a Christian businessman, right? So I'm a Christian first, but I kind of leaned into the verse Romans 8:28, all things work together for good. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're in these tough situations, it's hard to think, oh, this is going to work out for good. Like, that's not the first thought that comes to your mind.
For sure.
But I think it's kind of like a situation where you have to make a lemonade out of lemons. And so I actually had a decision to make because when I bought the deer, I bought him on owner financing terms. So I'd only made one $200,000 payment.
Mm.
And so this news came out. So I could have went back and retraded the deal, right? I mean, there's a significant argument that, hey, this I bought in the contract was the number one North American Shed Owners Club, set of sheds. And now it's not. So contractually, I could have went back and made an argument to retrade the deal. But I'm not a typical collector. I don't even really think of myself as a collector, but I saw the value in the general anyway. And I kept the deal.
And then what happened next?
So after we decided to keep to not retrade the deal, I thought, man, this is like a really compelling story. And we had a gentleman named Lee Ellis, who's a really famous in the whitetail world hunter that has always loved the general as well. And he wanted to come see the general, and he actually filmed a show at my lodge in Kansas. And when he was there, he recognized it as still as the greatest whitetail to walk the earth, in his opinion. which I thought was fantastic. And then I also met Caleb Copeland and Ryder Porter, who were producing the show for him. And so we left that meeting and they called me and they were like, Josh, we've got to do something with this. This story is bananas. Like this is a crazy story.
Yeah.
We need to go make a movie or documentary about this. And they didn't have to convince me because, as weird as it sounds, my whole life I've known one day that I'm going to make movies. I have no experience. I know none of the terminology. I don't know anything about making movies, but I've known my whole life that I'm going to make movies. And it was really a God moment for me. And I felt in my heart like it is time.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
And do you, I guess, going back, thinking through everything, do you regret it, or are you glad that you still made that purchase?
Yeah, it's honestly one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life. I've had more joy and more fun. It's changed my life completely. It's changed my family's life.
Yeah.
But these antlers are, when the movie comes out and you watch it, you're going to see just a set of deer antlers. It has changed laws. It's changed lives. There's been Fed raids around these antlers. There's a story about the guy that I bought it from, Keith Snyder, who was kind of part of the dark antler world, and through the transaction and meeting me, found God. So the general has redeemed man.
Wow.
This set of antlers I'm telling you, it's an unbelievable story, and we're so pumped to get it out to everyone to see.
That's so cool. What God can use. He can use deer antlers.
He's a burning bush he's used a talking mule. Like, he's used a lot of stuff, right? So I guess
true.
he can use deer antlers if he wants.
That's pretty awesome. Now let's shift a little bit and talk about Secure Store. So you have 12 different locations across 6 states. What's been the hardest part from scaling from one location to 12?
Yeah, the hardest part is finding people. I learned from Tim Brotz on Legacy, you cannot have growth and control, right?
Yeah.
And so giving up that control of the books and control of the financing and control of the management is the hardest part. And I think a lot of people get stuck because they can't give up control. But you can't have them both. You cannot grow and have control. So that was the hardest part, is giving that stuff up. But what I've been the reason that I've been successful is because I've been blessed with the best people. Like, the people that have taken control of certain things do a much better job than I could. So if you can hire someone to replace things that you're doing and they're better than you are, you cannot fail, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been blessed with great people. So getting the right people in place and giving up that control, I think, is a key.
What does it look like as you give up control, and also have your hands on it so that it's being done in a way that you would like? Obviously, you can't have control over everything. What does that look like to have control, but also not have control, if that makes sense? Because you have control about the direction, but you don't have control about the details, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes trust in other people. It's not easy. It's not easy because the people that are doing it now, that are better than me at it, are not doing it the way I would do it. Right. And I'm like, but then I'm like, I think it's weird to say, but it's almost a sense of you have to be lazy and not care. You really have to have the mindset of like, I trust them. Like, you literally have to trust. It boils down to trust.
Yeah.
I trust them to do their job, but I'm going to go do something else.
And how do you, I guess, maintain that trust without also putting yourself at risk? Do you do anything to put yourself in those, like, to I guess, protect yourself while you're also trusting them?
Yeah, that's a great point, right? I'm going to hand over a significant part of the business to someone, and and I'm subject to their decisions, right?
Yeah.
So I think that boils down to, like, you call it KPIs, or just communication with people. Like, I have two people that are really close to me that I talk to every day. It's Tanya Calfee, the CFO, and Joey Boone, who's our CEO. And I'm in communication with them just about every day, right? And our policy is they're allowed to go do whatever they want and make decisions. I trust them that much. And if I see something I don't like, then we'll have a discussion about it later, right? But you can't, and these are both long-term employees. I mean, they've been with me, 6, 7, 8+ years. It's not like you can hire a guy off the street day one and turn over the books to him, right? It takes time. And what I've learned is we've spent so much time together that they know how I think and they think like me, and that makes it easier. And the craziest thing is Joey has been able to reproduce himself in the next person, right? So there's a girl named Joy Wade. She does a tremendous job for us. She's actually our COO. And Joey has basically duplicated himself in her. So he's been able to, do everything
Yeah,
I
that's
do
amazing.
and recreate himself below him. And I think that's a key for growth is,
Yeah,
right people
duplicating leaders.
with the right mindset. Yeah.
I love that. Now, I'd like to jump into our costly confession session of the show, which is sponsored by One Stop Tax Strategists. They help you bring peace to taxes and purpose to profits to help you live more. And this is where we look at your financial wins, misses, and the lessons you learned along the way. So can you share with us a mistake that you made that had a real dollar amount attached to it that if you'd go back, you would not redo it?
Yep. A couple come to mind. The first thing is when we're developing a self-storage property, you're up against the interest clock. And when you're a developer, you have everything in the world against you. You have to deal with municipalities. You have to get permits. You're dealing with the weather. You're dealing with ordering, electrical components that have long lead times. So, and then you think about borrowing $10 million and borrowing, and you're paying $50,000 to $70,000 a month in interest. And you factored that in, and it's going to take some time, but all of a sudden the project gets extended 3 to 4 months due to, a permit or due to the weather.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've spent another $200,000 that you didn't budget for. So I think moving fast and fighting that interest clock, I have definitely lost there before with an extended project. The other way I've lost is I think of like the Sevierville, Tennessee market. We did really well down there. The timing was perfect when we started. We bought 3 properties down there that all appreciated $1 million in a year, literally.
Wow.
And we sold those properties. We did really well. And we thought we were bulletproof. So we turned around and bought more properties down there. And over the past year, that market is down about 15%. So we really won there, and now we're kind of losing there. So I think the timing and just understanding the volatility of markets has made us lose.
That makes sense. And how would you avoid that? Like, if what's the lesson for the listener there is just do research, or what would you say?
Yeah. So I'm overly optimistic, which is not good as an entrepreneur. You need to be a realist, right? So I think getting into the property's right. If you're building the property, if you're developing a property, watch your pennies. If you're into a property that costs you $1 million to build, and it's going to be worth $2 million when you're done, and you've got $1 million of equity, that's a good place to be, because if the property comes down 15%, who cares, right? But if you've got $2 million in a $2 million property and the market goes down 15%, you're not sitting well. So I think getting into the properties right and making your money when you buy is extremely important and helps you avoid, the market downturns.
When you say the overly optimistic, it makes me laugh because my dad's the same way. But growing up, like, it's great to have those people around you, though, because it's like I thought I could do no wrong as a kid. So I grew up, it gave me insane confidence that, like, I look back now and I'm so grateful for. But I'm like, oh, he just is super optimistic about everything. But and then we think about like Disney, the way Disney does things. We just did a team event at Disneyland, and I learned that what they do is they have the people that are like the dreamers. So people like yourself that just think of all these outrageous things. What if we did this? What if we did this? I forget what they're called. It's like basically the creator. And then they have the people that come in afterwards. They're not allowed to talk to each other until they're done Imagineers. That's what they're called.
Imagineers, yeah.
Yes. And then they have the people that come in, and now they're the ones responsible to tear it apart and say, okay, here's how we're going to do it. But they don't ever let them talk to each other during the creative state, because you don't want that realism. So that's probably something that was probably a strength for you, but you just probably need that piece to keep you go, okay, what about this, Josh? So it's good to have both.
That's exactly right. Yeah, my wife is a realist, and thank God she is, because
Yeah.
without her kind of pulling me back, it's hard to tell when I
Yeah.
grew up in
Has that
jail.
ever been like I guess a hard point for you guys in your relationship where you're like, don't poop on my parade here. Like, don't, like, does that ever feel that way for you or no?
Yeah, I mean, at times, sure. It's marriage, it's work. We've been married 25 years. It's, there's
Hmm.
ups and downs, but all in all, it's been very much bliss because, she is the right amount of realism for me.
That's great.
It's really worked out well. I think
That's
opposites do attract, right?
They do. They do. And it's good to have that. I'm starting to appreciate that more as well. It's like, because my husband's more realistic than me. And it's so nice to have just somebody to bounce ideas off of that doesn't think like you. And I
Mhm.
personally used to resist it, but I'm starting to appreciate it more because you do need that.
Sure. Yep.
Um, I'd like to jump in. There's like a quote that I always think of, and I really do think of you when I think of this quote. It says that, I don't remember who was the original person, but it says that money doesn't change who you are, it just magnifies who you already are. And in your case, from what I've seen and knowing you at least, I feel like the more money that you've made, it just magnifies one, that you're a man of faith, that you are a devoted dad. That's what I've seen, and somebody that genuinely cares about people. Is that something that you purposely had to fight for, or is that something that you just naturally are?
Yeah, those are kind words. I do appreciate that a lot. And I don't know that I'm as great as you made me sound, but I do appreciate that. But yeah, I think you're spot on. I think money makes you more of what you are. If you're a butthole, you get money, you're going to be a bigger butthole, right?
Yep.
But no, I think that's 100% right. Yeah, I think you are who you are, and you can be, you know, your personality can be magnified by money. I do think that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
And have you had to be intentional about just, I guess, keeping who you are, or is it something that you
yeah,
just, God's humbled you and you've stayed that way?
yeah. No, I think I tell my wife this a lot. I watch a lot of other people, and I learn
Mhm.
from their situations. Right, I love studying people, um, and I love, really, to be honest with you, I like seeing the successful part. But what I really watch are people that don't do well, and try to figure out why, because I want to avoid that.
Yeah.
And one pattern that I've noticed is that anytime you see someone that has a lot of pride, right? You see them, bragging about this, or you see them acting in a way that, that you think is boisterous. But I've noticed that even the Bible says that, right after pride comes destruction, right?
Mhm.
So I have been, I tell my wife this all the time, because when you're successful, it's almost an automatic human nature that you're like, well, yeah, I'm better than so and so, and I'm better than, like, those people could never do what I like. It is natural to feel that way, but I think you have to guard against it and
Yeah.
know that, like, you can't even breathe without God's blessing. You can't take a step. You can't breathe in through your nose. You can't breathe out. You can't move your arm. Like, it could
Mhm.
take any of that away. So I think I have been intentional about trying to remain humble.
Oh, I think that's great. And it's, God opposes the proud but favors the humble. And so
Mm,
it's just reminding yourselves of those things that you just said, like, we can't do anything without him. So that's awesome. What is one thing that you know now about money, freedom, or like chasing what matters to you that you wish you understood earlier?
that's a great question. So one thing that I'm still chasing, this might not be a direct answer to your question, but I think it's important. One thing I'm still chasing is freedom. So
Hmm.
I've been very blessed. I'm high income, but I have to still work. I am not in a position yet to where I can just go pile my money up and live off the interest.
Yeah.
And I like to work, but I'm very much, I can't walk away right now. So I think the true level of achievement would be to be completely financially free and have that freedom, right? And I'm not there
Hmm.
yet. But I think I'd like to get there. And then part of me thinks, well, if I don't have to get up every day and work, would I? Like, would
Yeah.
I really work 12 hours a day if I didn't have to go get it? So trying to find that balance between, like, being financially free or having freedom, and then but still having a desire to work, is I'm trying to juggle that.
Yeah. How I get this isn't anything I plan to ask, but how do you define contentment?
That's a great question. How do I define contentment? I would say if the people around you are healthy and happy and you have peace.
Hmm. That's
I
good.
think if you're not content, then you'll never be right.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's balancing contentment with ambition. So you know, being satisfied with what you have, but also and grateful for what you have, but also being okay chasing after more, and that's a hard balance. I'm
Yeah.
doing a little Bible study on contentment with my kids right now, so it's at the forefront of my mind, and it's just a good thing to be reminded of.
Yeah.
Now,
True.
a lot of people find that when the money comes, that faith quietly gets pushed to the back burner,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Life gets busier, schedule flips upside down, and God just kind of moves to Sunday mornings only. Is this something that you've ever struggled with? Or do you have a routine that helps you keep God at the forefront of your mind? Or what does that look like for you?
Oh, it's very much a struggle. Yeah, it's very much a struggle. The funny thing to me is I'm a professional problem solver. Like I think
Hmm.
all day because I'm at the top is just all the problems when they make them up to me are big problems.
Yeah.
The funny thing is you go about your day solving problems, and then later on you remember like, oh, I probably should have just prayed and asked God to solve that problem. And then
Yeah.
when you do remember that, it's like they do go away easier, you know? So yeah, I definitely struggle with my faith. I'm definitely a human being, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, I know I have to lean on him.
Yeah. I'm going to start a Monday morning. I think I'm going to do it on Monday mornings, but a prayer group for business owners or for CEOs. And so just to kind of keep that at the front of the week, like let's pray over our business. So I'll keep you tuned to that.
I love that. Now, one thing we have done for the past 5 years, every Monday morning without fail at 8 o'clock, everyone on our team is invited to. It's voluntarily. It's
Hmm.
volunteer only, but just about everybody comes. We have a devotional,
Oh, I love
and
that.
we take turns leading it, and then we share prayer requests from 8 to 8:30 every Monday morning for the past 5 years. And I think when you can take that really busy time of your life, Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and give it to God, I think that's a big part of why we've been blessed is because we've donated that little bit of time to Him at the beginning of the
I
week.
love that.
Yep,
That's really
it's
cool.
been really powerful. And the other thing it does is it puts everyone face to face, because sometimes you don't see people because everybody's working remotely. And then it gives you that kind of like um, personal,
Personal connection.
exactly. Yeah, you feel like it
Yeah.
is very bonding for the team. Yep.
Yeah. That's great. And also, like something that I've seen, you bring your kids to the legacy family events.
Hmm.
And so you just seem like you're really involved with your kids. Is that something that you keep at the forefront of your mind that you really work towards, like keep getting your kids involved in the business? What does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, 100%. I do everything I do for my kids at the end of the day, right? Like they're everything to me. And I want to be the dad that allows them to choose what they want to do. And then maybe I can accelerate that, like using
Hmm.
some of my resources. So yeah, for sure. I 100% love my kids. Alex is kind of following in my shoes in development. He's building his first car wash,
Oh, cool.
got a couple of vacation rental cabins that he's the host. I mean, he's the VRBO host for the cabins. So he's getting into management. My daughter Riley went a little different path. She's in Clemson now in her second year, getting ready to start her second year. She's going into finance. And then Colin, my 13-year-old, he's my crazy third child. He's just like his dad. And he drives me crazy. So
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
payback, right?
it's exactly right. Yep. He's my mini me, but he's my little buddy. I've spent this week, I've spent a lot of time with him. We're building a bridge out in the yard. So he's been out there digging holes and literally pouring concrete. And I
Nice.
said, listen, I'm the engineer. You're the laborer. So I'm just going to tell you what to do. And he's done a great job. It's been a fun project for us.
That's really cool. Do you have any type of like strict rules in place so that you protect your family time? What does that look like for you, or do you just involve them in what you're already doing?
Yeah, I'm really bad about that. I'm on my phone constantly. My wife is constantly slapping it out of my hand. I'm
Yeah.
seeing myself on my phone, and my kids are talking to me, and I'm not even paying attention. And I'm horrible at that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to be very intentional. One thing, matter of fact, as soon as we get off this call, we're heading over to Moomaw Lake. I've got a wake surfing boat, and there's no cell service over there.
Oh,
So
perfect.
it's perfect to go over there where I don't even take my phone on the boat because it's useless. So that's
Hmm.
when I can get some focused family time. But to be honest with you, it's rare, and I'm not good at it.
Yeah. I struggle with that myself, just being present. And so that's something that I've been trying to work towards. I got this app called Be Present. It's kind of funny. And it basically, you could schedule time where you just lock yourself out of different apps,
Okay.
and it's not like it's different than like focus mode. It actually locks the apps that you want to be out of, and you have to it basically makes you feel bad if you go back in there. So you can pause it, but you're like, do you really want to give up on this? So it's like, oh, you're right. So that's actually been something that's super helpful. You might check out.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I need that for sure.
Yeah. And for me in the morning, so it keeps like my emails, everything locked out so that I can't look at that until I work out and spend time with God. Those are the two things that I try to do in the morning.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
So just hopefully that'll help you and maybe the listener too.
Yep.
So when you think about what you're building, the storage portfolio, Antler, Legacy, the movie, all this fun stuff, what do you want your kids to take away from watching you go through all this?
I want them to see someone that worked really hard. And I don't want to say earned what I've got because, I don't think that's fair because I give a lot of credit to God, but I want them to see someone that really went after it, that really
Hmm.
went all in and then earned it. And then I had a great feeling that of accomplishment. I want my kids to feel accomplished, but I want them to do it themselves. And the hardest
Yeah.
thing about kids are their personalities because some of them are super motivated to go do whatever. And some of them aren't. They don't have that inner fire. And I think you're either born with it or not. So I've struggled a
Yeah.
little bit of that. My kids have varying degrees of that inner fire. So I'd like to see all of them have that inner fire.
Yeah, for sure. I'm learning about predictive index for our hiring. It's like a hiring tool we use, and everybody's just geared different. Some people are more proactive, which we're urgently wanting to move forward, and some people are more reactive and just slow and steady. And I can't wait till my kids are old enough to do it because it'll really give insight on. You have to be like 18 for it to lock in. So I'm excited to see what they're like.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The proactive people, it's hard for them to get along with the reactive people.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree. But
Yeah.
I've also learned to appreciate like you do need both and there's good for both, but there's a time and place for both. So that's where you have to lean on kind of like what we talked about with the marriage. It's leaning on your skill set in the different moment, right? And so knowing, okay, you're better at this, I'm gonna trust you in this, and kind of the same thing with employees,
Yep.
from my perspective. Now, the episode 1 drops on July 4th, right? For the Antler Craze.
That's correct.
And
Yep.
can you share with people where they can find that so that people can know what to expect, what's in it, what is the show, what does the film look like, and all that? Give them a little detail there.
Yeah. So our website is originalbygod.com. If you go there, literally as soon as you go there, it's going to pop up. You can rent episode 1. We've made it super easy to click and rent. You literally just click, put your email address in, and you can check out with Shop, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all of them are right there. So it's super easy
Oh, cool.
process. You'll get a link in your email, and then it's a 48-hour rental. So you can let that link sit there as long as you want. But then once you click it, you have the 48-hour clock starts, right? So you can watch
Got
it
it.
as many times as you want for 48 hours. Episode 2 is coming out about a month later. Episode 3 about a month after that, so into September. And then our socials on Instagram, General Unbooked, and then just the General Original by God on Facebook. And then obviously there'll be links there and information about the movie as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to watch that. That'll be fun, especially when you know somebody. It's fun to watch them
Yeah,
on TV.
this guy really is crazy. Yeah, yeah.
That'll be fun for you to sit down with your family and watch it together.
Yeah, we're excited for sure. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, do you mind if I jump into some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. What's on your bucket list that has nothing to do with deer?
Freedom.
Freedom. What does freedom require for you? What define freedom for you?
Enough money earning interest that I can live off of and be happy without doing any input myself.
So financial freedom, just to let it ride. Very cool.
Yep.
What's one book that changed how you think?
I'm trying to think of the name of it. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey.
Stephen Covey. Yep.
Number 1 is be proactive, I think.
That's good. If you had to start from zero, start over, no network, no capital, what's the first thing that you would do?
Real estate. Find a property and create value in it.
Would you do self-storage again, or would you just do,
100% self-storage, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, Josh, this has been genuinely just one of the most unexpected. When I was telling Josh at the beginning of the show, I did not know this much about him when I did the research. And then I researched and found all this information about the deer antlers. And it was really cool to just see how God's used the story for so many things. And it's been cool to see your take on it. I think it's a good reminder that when frustrating things happen to us, that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and there's always ways to make the situation work well if you have the right attitude. So thank you for that reminder. And just remember, guys, make sure you check out the movie that's dropping on the 4th of July. Make sure you guys check out the originalbygod.com to check out the movie. We'll go ahead and link that in the show notes, and then all of his social channels so you guys can get connected with him. And just for everyone listening, if this episode is something that helped you think differently about success, think differently about freedom, and gave you something that you can take and run with it, then make sure you keep letting it roll, let it listen, and we'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd ask that you leave a quick and honest review to help more business owners find the show.